Who are the rarest units in Dokkan Battle? Well, as of now there are 67 unobtainable units in the game, and in this video I'm going to go over every single one, so make sure to watch to the end of this video to learn about the rarest of these already rare units. By the way, if you're new, please consider subscribing and liking the video, and if you have any of these units, please let me know down below in the comments, and you can even show them off in my Discord if you want to. Now let's get straight into the video. Starting with the more commonly owned cards, most of these units were either released during a celebration as a login bonus as some sort of statue or Elder Kai unit. The Santa outfit Goku, Roshi, Kid Gohan, and Kid Mayan Trunks. These units were all Christmas rewards that we might get to see again this year, but most likely we're just going to get a new variation of a character with a Santa outfit. The final units I'm going to mention in this category are the Jackie Chun statue, the Beelzebub, the Peppy Gal's April Fool's card, and the Icarus worth millions of Zenny. Moving on to some of the more unique units, we've got the April Fool's units. I honestly really enjoy Dokkan's April Fool's updates. They're super unique and fun to play through. Unfortunately, the amazing Yamcha units from the 2016 April Fool's event are not attainable, but if you still want to take on the events for his awakening medals, those are still available if you use the black keys. These two units were very funny and we haven't seen anything like them since. But in 2017 we got the Cybermen squad, who are terrible but somehow fit the Kamehameha link skill category. Unlike Yamcha, who at least was usable before being awakened, these guys lost 10% of your HP every time they super attacked and only have a 1-turn passive skill. Nowadays our April Fool's units are much more usable, to say the least. Moving on to the next group of units, I want to talk about a handful of these cards that were actually rewards in events that are now discontinued or repurposed. The first one is a unit you guys probably are very familiar with, but it's in SR Cooler. This guy went from being a farmable to a summonable SR unit. He used to be the go-to card for cooler super attack levels and now has been replaced by the Tech SSR Cooler, who is far easier to use as super attack fuel since you don't need to Dokkan awaken an SR unit to SSR and then UR again. Another unit who met a similar fate is Rare Vegeta. Not only was he removed from the loophole, he wasn't even added to the summoning pool. He's forever lost in time, but at least his replacement is just the awakened version of him with no way of getting him in his previous R rarity. Every other R rarity unit that is unattainable at this point is on this list because it has suffered the same fate as these two units. Farmer Goku, Teen Gohan, Older Teen Gohan, Nappa, Bardock, and Police Uniform Krillin are all here for the same reason as Vegeta. They just had no other reason to exist anymore, and it makes farming a lot easier for new players. I'm sure some Dokkan collectors are lucky enough to have saved a few copies of each, but then again, these cards are mostly existing to raise super attack levels. Last but not least, for the R rarity units, we've got the only card that has a different story, and it's the Planet Yardrat Goku. In my opinion, this is one of the coolest card arts in the game. This guy came out way back in 2015 as a V-Jump magazine code and is only available on the JP version of Dokkan, which explains why he might be one of the rarest cards in the game. This Goku came out when the game barely had a following and almost no one on YouTube was covering Dokkan. Fun fact though, he is in the database for Global Dokkan and at one point was even on the character list if you clicked on the Kamehameha link skill. Moving on to the SR units. These are where things start getting a bit more interesting. V-Jump is a Japanese shonen manga magazine that releases monthly, and they cover popular manga and video games based on manga. Dokkan Battle is actually mentioned quite often in these magazines and has had many collaborations for magazine codes that offer exclusive cards in the game. STR Xeno Trunks, Base Form Physical Type Ki Blast Cannon Goku, and even AGL Beerus are all SRs that are no longer obtainable because they all came from these magazines. There's also a Base Form STR Full Strength Goku, who was another one of these V-Jump code units, but allegedly he is still obtainable, just no one knows how considering you need the code to redeem him and it was only one code per person, so to me it seems like he's not available anymore either. Next, we've got a unit from a 2015 guidebook released under the name of Dragonball Super Start Guide. STR Super Saiyan Blue Goku. This card isn't just rare because you can't get it. This card is one of the only SR rarity Blue Gokus in the game. And coincidentally, the other SR Blue Goku is unobtainable as well, since he was only available as a reward from the 10 million downloads campaign in 2015. Both of these cards have amazing art in my opinion, and if you have them, it's a super cool trophy to have in your box. The next few units we're going to talk about were World Tournament exclusive rewards. So not only did you have to play the World Tournament, you had to do well in the rankings. Oob and End of Z Goku were two SR units only available in the World Tournament loot pool, and only for a year or two during a few certain weeks of the year. These These guys came out when the game didn't have nearly as many players as today and came from one of the grindiest events in the game. But that isn't even as bad as this next SR Tech Roshi. This guy was only available as a mission reward during the first ever world tournament. The cool thing about the Goku and the Roshi is that even though they're not obtainable, you can still find them around in a few rare missions and cutscenes in the game. Both of them also have Dokkan awakenings, and Goku's card art even includes the scene of him fighting Oob during the end of Z World tournament. I would love to see an LR or TUR with updated animations of this moment from the anime. The following units I'm going to talk about are a rare case where despite being popular, their events were discontinued and not repurposed. Kibito Kai, Final Form Frieza, and Young Piccolo are 3 SRs that had their events discontinued, making them no longer obtainable. So if you max these cards out or farm them for SA levels, make sure not to get rid of them. The odd thing about these 3 units is A. Kibito Kai is the only Super Strike event not to ever return, even with the easy A's of the other units, and B. Why was Frieza removed despite being great SA fuel for other Final Form Friezas as well as Golden Friezas with his Dokkan awakening? I can understand Piccolo since Piccolo is always just Piccolo, but it was kind of pointless to remove him. I just hope someday Kibito Kai will be easy 8 and return to be a part of the Realm of Gods category team. I'll also never forget the days where we had a Golden Frieza of every type that awakened from each type of SR Frieza. And last but certainly not least, for the SR units, we've got the GOAT and possibly rarest unit in Dokkan, Messenger from the Future Trunks. This guy was only available as a pre-order bonus on JP Dokkan, so you had to sign up early for a game that basically no one knew about. Now, we can finally move on to the SSRs and URs of the list, and let's start by getting all the Arale banner units out of the way. These guys are only on the list because this banner came out once in 2016 and never returned. These units are very unique and even have some decent animations, but the devs must have forgotten about them because even the free-to-play event can't be accessed with keys anymore. They didn't even bother to add these units to the summonable SSR pool or give them easy A's, which is a bit disappointing, but maybe someday we'll see them again. The next handful of units are all login bonuses. Spirit Bomb Goku is a very famous unit in these conversations because he was one of the first login bonuses that was actually really good and came out when the game had started gaining popularity. He also got a really good awakening a year later when AGL teams were the meta, so he got a lot of play on free-to-play accounts like mine. Then we got Adult Gotenks, a Dragon Ball Heroes character who only appeared on JP Dokkan as a login gift. For 2016 New Year's, we got a first form Frieza who sucks but was pretty cool to collect. Later in 2017, they gave us a useless Hercule who loses 80% attack in his passive. More recently in 2023, we got the very solid Android 18 and Android 21 DB Fighters card, who I am sure a lot more of you have. Speaking of Android 18 though, a card you don't see people having too often is the 2018 New Year's login bonus. This card has such a unique and amazing art design, it's a shame we most likely won't ever see it again. Another SSR worth mentioning is Horror from Hell Frieza. This card is another one of those mysteries, but I think it was removed from banners because it's an SSR that Dokkan awakens into an SSR, and I guess that doesn't make too much sense. I guess he was supposed to be an SR, but they don't really like having Final Form Frieza as an SR rarity unit. Things worked differently back in 2015. This card was released before TUR Broly was even in the game, so it makes sense that things weren't exactly fully fledged out yet. Now let's talk about the one and only Bye Guys Goku. This unit was only obtainable from the Doflamingo event in 2016 on the global version of the game from the One Piece crossover event. This is such an amazing moment with a pretty solid card art. This unit is one of the rarest units due to many factors. It was a global only unit, only available once for a limited time, and was only attainable from one of the hardest events at the time. And considering how no one had good cards at this point, it wasn't easy to get him, even as a whale. So, out of everyone we've mentioned, who is the rarest unit in Dokkan? Is it a login bonus, a code unit, or a card that was only available during the Dokkan Dark Ages? Well, honestly, I think the most surprising card to see in someone's box is between the Int SR Trunks and the STR Bye Guys Goku. These two are pretty much yin and yang. One is globally exclusive during the early days, and the other is a JP exclusive from before the game even came out. Who do you think is the rarest card in Dokkan? Make sure to let me know down below, and if you enjoyed this type of video, subscribe and drop a like so I know to make more. Thank you all so much for watching.